Continuing the concept of electric field, we now are going to touch the next topic called electric dipole. It's again a very important and interesting topic also. Electric dipole studied with two charges, like it has got negative Q and positive Q, and if we are going to keep this dipole on a coordinate axis like this point, the center represents origin. From this point to this point it is A, and to this position of the charge it is again A, so it means the total length will become 2A. And if we talk about a dipole, then it means it is a system of two equal and opposite charges placed a certain distance apart, and we denote this distance to be 2A, which is also called as the length of the dipole. Now, what exactly is the dipole moment? That is the second term, the dipole moment or the electric dipole moment. Now, what exactly is electric dipole moment? It is denoted by P, and it is a vector quantity, and it is the product of either of the charge and the length of the dipole. This is what I am representing, the magnitude. And in case of direction, what is the direction of electric dipole moment? The direction is always from negative charge towards positive charge. That is the direction of electric dipole moment. And what is the unit of P? The unit of P is obviously coulomb and meters. It is coulomb meters. That is the unit of electric dipole moment. So quickly, electric dipole is a system of two equal and opposite charges placed at certain defined distance between each other. That distance we normally denote by 2A because we are confining this point as origin, and from origin to this point it is A, and to this point again it is A, so it is 2A. Now, the next term is dipole moment. It is given by P vector, which is Q into 2A, and the direction is from negative charge towards positive charge, and the unit is coulombs meter. That is the first important segment of the electric dipole. And now the next, let me just wipe it off. In electric dipole, now we have got, again you have studied everything, but just on the quick review basis, it is minus Q plus Q, and if I am going to extend this line, this will be called as axial line, and if I am going to extend, or if I am going to draw this line, which is the perpendicular bisector, then this line will be then called as equatorial line. So as per the CBSE norms, we have got the derivation for, we have this derivation in the syllabus. Find the electric field at any point on the axial line, means E on axis you have to analyze. Find the electric field at any point on the equatorial line. So I am putting this point or naming this point as N, or I am naming this point as M. M. Let me write here equatorial, right? So it is E equatorial, this is E axis, and normally we mark the distance from center to point M as R. Similarly, we mark the distance from center to this point as R. You know this is A, this is also A. So what is the value of E axis? It is K 2 PR upon R square minus A square whole square. Again, no derivations, just the expression. Derivations we have done in the regular classes. You might have also done it. Just for the quick review, I am giving the expression. Similarly, E equatorial, K P divided by R square plus A square raised to power 3 by 2. And you very well know what is P. P is Q into 2A that we have just dealt with in the previous article. Now there is a very special case in both the two expressions. That special case is E axis, but for a short dipole. And for a short dipole, it is K 2P by R cube, because A is taken to be much smaller than R. Equilikely, E at equatorial line again for a short dipole is K into P by R cube, because the same condition prevails here. Now what is the relation between E axis and E equatorial? Quite prominent. E axis is double the E equatorial. That is there. And this question, this format is again very important for the upcoming article. What is that upcoming article? Let me brief you here. I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to keep just these two things on the board. See this. Now see, if I wish to find out, this is the common question again, another very common question for CBSE. This is a charge minus Q, this is a charge plus Q, this is origin, and now there is a point P. And this point is neither on the equatorial line nor on the axial line. This is placed anywhere around this dipole. So in that case, let me join it. Let me name this as R. And in this case, I will consider this dipole to be a short dipole. This is conditionally normally given in the question, that the dipole that you have to consider is a short dipole. So it means that A is much smaller than R, and in fact we can use these relations directly. Suppose this angle is theta. Now this is the point P, and the point P is at a distance R from the origin. Now I am going to represent the dipole moment somewhat like this. This is P. So obviously the component of P in this direction will be, this will be P cos theta, right? And the component of P in the perpendicular to this, like this is P cos theta, and perpendicular component will be, it will be like this. Okay, let me draw it here. Okay, this place, that is P sin theta. Fine. So P has got two components. One is P cos theta and other is P sin theta. Now you can simply analyze. If this is P sin theta, like I have placed my marker, then this line will become a perpendicular line. It means this will become the equatorial line. So this point P will be a point on the equatorial line for which dipole moment? P sin theta. And similarly for this P cos theta, and the point P is on the same line, means this point will now come on the axis of a dipole whose dipole moment is P cos theta. So it means the same point will be considered as the axial point for this dipole moment and equatorial point for this dipole moment. Keeping this thing in our mind, we can find the value of E on the axial point. With respect to the axial point, it will be K2. Just replace P by P cos theta divided by R cube, because we are considering the dipole to be a short dipole, and E at equatorial line is Kp sin theta divided by R cube. And we very well know that the electric field, the axial electric field is always along the dipole moment, and equatorial electric field is always against the dipole moment. It means these two will be somewhat drawn like this. E axial will be drawn like this. Let me draw it like this, a bit dark, and E equatorial will be drawn like this. Why this? Because this becomes opposite to P sin theta. This is in parallel with P cos theta. So this is E axial and this will be E equatorial, and now very clear you can find out the resultant of E axial and E equatorial, and finally you will get the net electric field. This is the net electric field, E net, right? So E net will be equal to square root of E axial and E equatorial. Hope you understand this what I am writing, right? So this is about the electric field at any point on the electric field at any point near the dipole, short dipole, because we are considering here the conditions of short dipole as if like this. In this, P was replaced by P cos theta, and in this case small p is replaced by P sin theta. This is the equatorial equivalent, expression and this is the axial equivalent expression. My point is very much clear at this particular note. Now for the another topic, we'll consider it as torque acting on the electric dipole when placed in the uniform electric field. So in that case, what I'm going to do is, again we have to draw the uniform electric field somewhat like this, and we are having a dipole placed in this field. This is the negative charge, this is the positive charge, and the uniform electric field is drawn like this. Say the magnitude is E vector, and it means this is going to experience a force QE and this is going to experience the force QE in the opposite direction. So what is the net force experienced? It is 0. And what is the net torque experienced? Again, not going with the derivation, directly I am writing the expression P cross E, that is tau vector is P cross E and the magnitude is PE sin theta, and P we very well know again, Q into 2A. Right, so this is the expression of torque when it is placed in the uniform, when the dipole is placed in the uniform electric field. Now, what is going to happen if the dipole is not placed in the uniform electric field, say in an electric field which is non-uniform? What is going to happen? The question little topples. This question then becomes the question little bit related to the advanced level or maybe the competition level. But again, I am going to consider it right over here. I am going to do it right over here just to make you clear that if this kind of thing appears in the due course of time when I'll be discussing some kind of numericals, then you should not faint in just looking at it, right? So now let's move on to that particular topic in which the electric field is not uniform. In that case, the force, because in that case the force will not be equal to 0. For non-uniform electric field, the force will not be equal to 0. Then what will be the value of force? This is the common question. What will be the value of force? It will be P into dE by dx in the differential form. Okay, let's say dE by dx only in the differential form, or F is equal to P delta E by delta L. Actually, we are going to study the force with respect to the electric field which is changing along the x-axis, means in the direction. We are using the term x because we are pointing out that E is along the x-axis, means we are going to discuss the change of E along x-axis, change of E along L length, means L is again to be in the direction of E. So that is F is equal to P dE by dx. We are considering if in case E is having another coordinates, we can choose accordingly. This in the broader way we'll discuss in the more in the advanced section, but this for the time being you can keep it in your mind that the moment and the expression, not torque, sorry, the force acting on the electric dipole when placed in the non-uniform electric field, because we are not talking about torque, we are talking about force, and this is the most common question in the advanced. So F is equal to P dE by dx, or F is equal to P delta E by delta L. That is the another important concept of the dipole when placed in a non-uniform electric field. Now move on to the next, which we have studied earlier but we have not emphasized on it, and that topic was electric field lines. Electric field lines. Remember when we just had discussed in fact the concept of electric field, and in that particular case I have very clearly stated that electric field is somewhat which is filled with electric field lines, but I have not gone through the details of electric field lines yet. I know you guys know it, but quickly I have to tell you little bit 2 or 3 odd properties of it. Number one, for a spherical charged body or spherical charge or a point spherical charge, it is moving radially outwards in case the charge is positive, and radially inwards in case the charge is negative. First major property. Second is, if two charges, say opposite charges, are kept close to each other, then it will move out from positive, enters into negative, out from positive, enters into negative, out from positive, enters into negative, and it frames a cylindrical symmetry. Similarly, if there are two positive charges, again the symmetry will be cylindrical, but the lines will be pushed away from each other, like this. Lines will be pushed away from each other, something like this, right? If both the two charges are positive. And fourth, no two electric field lines can ever intersect with each other. Again, this is very important, and there's a common question also in the board examination, and you must be knowing the answer also. I'm not going to discuss it more because symptomatically very clear. So it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 common properties. Chalte, let's cover up another point called electric or electrostatic shielding. Let me just wipe it off. Electrostatic shielding. Now, what is electrostatic shielding? Sorry. Electrostatic shielding. Now, what is electrostatic shielding? Actually, this is the process in which we restrict the electric field lines to a defined region, and we will not allow the electric field to move out of that region. And how we can do it? Let's say there is a positive charge and it is going to emanate the electric field lines somewhat like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a conducting sheet here with the other face earthed. Now this positive is going to induce a negative here, and these lines are moving out from positive and going to rest on this side, and there will be no electric field on the right side of this sheet, this conducting sheet. It means the purpose is solved. So electric field lines gets restricted here, and they are not moving out from this region to this region. This is electrostatic shielding. Now the another topic is electric flux, and Gauss's law. We'll be doing in the last part. Thanks a lot.